gundam.tk presents Victory Gundam. Yes, Master Grade. Hey everybody, it's Robert184, almost Happy New Year, and I'm here to wrap up my review of the Master Grade Victory Gundam, in this case the transformation into the top and bottom fighters, and don't forget to check out my review of the new Lightning base. First of all, a really good question that I was asked is, in this high grade 1/100th kit from 1993, this one I chose to buy the V Gundam, which basically comes with this extra part. Here's the back of the Master Grade, and if you take a look at the V pack, you are able to slide it on to some degree, but if you take a look there, you can see that there's a fair bit, almost a centimeter of separation, and that gives you the effect that while it's on over his head, that it doesn't look very sturdy. The other thing I should mention is that because this is old plastic from 1993 and it's mostly seals, just big white blocks with a blue sticker and red sticker down at the bottom, you can see there how loose it is. It doesn't really look that great, but from a distance you can pull it off. From the comments, and thanks as always to everybody who comments, good and bad, on the videos, I know that there are a few people that are waiting to buy a Master Grade V1-, and you know what, I have to say I don't think it's going to happen, and it sort of comes back to what I was saying before, where because we had the Hexa here, I don't think that we have the same need to buy two Gundams as they did back in 93, where you buy the first of the V1, and then if you buy it again you get the Hexa and the V- pack, which sort of gives you two reasons to buy it. But I have the feeling that we're only going to get this Master Grade version Ka, which would leave this up to maybe Garage Kits or B Club or something like that. So now, anyway, enough of that, it's time to get this transformed into the top and bottom fighters. To ready the transformation, you're just going to pull out the core fighter, the opposite of the way you put it in. Ready the core fighter from the Hexa because you're going to be using that for either the top or the bottom. And basically just a good pull here and you're able to separate what's going to become the top from the bottom fighters, and good luck keeping the legs on. Something I should mention, thanks to one of the comments I got on the earlier parts of the review, is that one reason I was having such problems with the legs is that this polycap here was actually pushed on too far, and it went further than it should. And so what happened was that this part here got mangled. So what I did is I actually just used my modeling knife, sliced that off, and Bandai was kind enough to give us two extra parts here. So I'm going to put this on, and try not to push it on too far, and hopefully when I put on this leg it avoids the same fate as the other one. Well, so far at the bottom it didn't push on too far like the other one, but it does still feel a little bit loose, but let's see how it stacks up through the transformation process. Now for the first part of transforming the bottom rim into the bottom fighter, and there goes that leg again. And that's the second time now that this piece has pushed in too much and resulting in the fact that the leg won't stay on. As I was saying, with the bottom fighter, you're going to pull this part down, bring up this part, and then slide the side armor around, and then there's a peg on the top which matches up with a notch on there. That locks nicely into place. Next up, you're going to separate these bottom parts, and you can accomplish that by pulling one forward and one back, and then you're going to bring this up, and there goes my other leg, and when you do that, you're able to bend this down, and the legs will stay up over here. Next up is a simple movement with the foot where you just bend this down and then do this. And even though it has a mechanism in there that you're able to pull the foot out, you won't use it here. Next up, you'll push the quadricep down, which has the effect of popping this out automatically, as well as pulling out this fin on the back, which is locked in place, but you're able to pull this out to its full extension, although sometimes these parts are going to want to fall off. Then once you've swung the legs forward, you'll flip it over, and you actually need to use this part, the attachment for the action base, and you're going to plug that in up here. You get a satisfying click once you've plugged in this part G3, and then you'll notice that there's a notch there which is going to plug into the back in the hole here of the Hexa core fighter. And with the core fighter locked in, you just swing this part up and lock it into place, and there you have it. You have the bottom fighter, which in no way resembles a Gundam's legs. The first thing you'll do when you're transforming the top fighter is that you're going to plug and play and take out the fists and replace them with these little claw grip, well, vaguely fist resembling things. From the side, you're going to bring up the back of the waist skirt, which is on a lever here, if the elbow is out of the way, and you bring that all the way up, and then you bring the front part of the waist skirt forward. But what you also do is you slide it off to the side and then bring it forward. Then you'll separate this part here at the bottom of the waist and swing the whole bottom part of the waist around to the back, and then try to line these up with the back skirt. Next, coming back to the arms, you're going to swing them forward and then twist the wrist 90 degrees, and when you do that, it's probably going to pop off these parts and the sides of the arms, so be careful. Actually, let me take that back about the design, because when you twist these wrists, the wrists pop up for you, which allow you to do everything and keep everything in place. Then you'll pull these shoulders out a little bit and spin them up, and then spin these white parts down below, and you're left with this kind of effect. Now, transforming the arm just gave this Master Grade, it was worth every one of its 4,000 yen, because, yeah, I'm impressed. So what happens is you bring up the wrist, I'll try to show you as best I can here, you bring up the wrist, and then bring the red part forward. And once you've done that, you spin down this white part, and you basically interchange them, and you spin this part back into the elbow, bring the red part forward, bring that down, and then inside there's a gray part that you're going to bring forward, and when you do that, it locks things into place relatively well, giving you this kind of effect. Then you'll cheat with the core fighter and pull out the wings and put them in their down position while bringing this as far forward as possible. Finally, similar to installing the core fighter into the regular Gundam, you're going to bend down these blue parts off to the side, and then this will just lock into place. And then, despite the odd piece falling off, you're going to have what's starting to look like the top fighter. Have I mentioned I'm a big fan of the rifle? Well, I'm not, but anyway, you'll bring this up, and then lock this into place, and then attach this into the arm of the top flyer. You'll notice that I made a mistake here, because actually you're only supposed to twist this fist sideways, unless you want to keep it without the rifle, but you're supposed to keep this one straight, so that you actually put the base of the rifle into the hand, and then lock it into place. The final step is to attach this to the action base. You'll plug this into the back of the core fighter, similar to what you did on the bottom fighter. Here is the top fighter from all angles. Underneath, yeah, it sort of looks like a Gundam chest, but overall it does a pretty good job of hiding its Gundamness, mostly because on the strength of the core fighter. And now the flyby. So both the top and bottom fighter look better than I expected and are a huge step up on the old high-grade one. This one has some loose parts, but once you get it lined up and stuck into an action base, you're not going to have any problems keeping everything in place. Although that rifle, which I am not a fan of at all, still wants to wiggle. The legs, really, you can't really call this a bottom fighter, feels pretty solid other than the same issues that I've been having over and over again with the hip joints popping out. And with a creative use of an action base or two, you can pull off some pretty cool aerial poses, although really you want to look at them from above, because otherwise if you see them from the underside, they really don't look that exciting. That bottom fighter's legs do not want to stay in position. They want to fall down. So some final thoughts about these two parts, transformed, the bottom and top fighters. And I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with them, especially the top fighter. And that it has some problems with the transformation, with a little bit of looseness and parts falling apart. It stays together better than I expected, although it is a little bit wobbly. Everything just feels like it wants to not stay in place. But once you put it on the action base, that problem disappears. The legs, I know I'm having problems with these hips. Hopefully you'll have better luck with them than I do. But overall, I think that it really shows off the core fighter. Now finally, the real question for me is, am I going to want to spend the money to buy a second Victory Gundam? Because you know what? The pose that I really want to do is something like this, with the Master Grade V Gundam in the middle, the top and bottom fighters shooting off, and if you did buy another one, you could have the V Gundam chest in here, Hexa Core Fighter, and the V Gundam Core Fighter shooting off on its additional base. And I think that would be pretty cool. If you liked the video, why not give it a star rating, and please subscribe, and even if you don't like it, throw a comment down below and let me know what you think. So there you have it, the Master Grade Victory Gundam. It's got some faults, but you know what, overall, I have to say that despite the fact that it's got some loose weapons, loose points and everything, the transformation, and especially just having it stand here, especially with the lightning base, and you can throw in that V1 dash pack, I have to say that this is a Gundam that I'm going to have on my shelf in a place of prominence for a long time to come. So anyway, hopefully if you're a fan of the old series, I think you'll like this one a fair bit. As always, thanks for watching everybody, www.gundam.tk, and stay tuned for lots more reviews. And now the flyby. With bad focus. Gotta love that lightning base. Have you seen my special attack in Gundam vs. Gundam? Bang!